Hey, here we are at MK 2019. This is our setup in the area. We're going to have a walk around and show you some of the sights. Never even seen one of these before. Diamondback Mike Dominguez, Strike Zone. Is this yours? Can you tell us a bit about it? Tu anglais très bien. So, what year is this?
86.
86. Oh, yeah. Wow. We've never seen one before.
Yeah, it's the factory bike, the replica of the factory bike of Mike Dominguez in 86.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, did you have these back in Belgium for sale?
For sale.
I mean, did they have these in Europe to sell?
This one come from USA for a cheap price on eBay.
Oh, really?
Many years ago, but no, not many in Europe, I think.
Yeah. No, I've never seen one. I've never seen one either. So, yeah, amazing. Look at this standing platform here.
The brakes with roller cam system.
Yes. Really trick.
Yeah.
And the graphics are amazing, yeah, right? Yeah. These are Diamondback handlebar also. Wow.
Yeah. With the guide for the cable.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Cool. Well, listen, we'll have to ask you about the slingshot, right? Yeah. So these were sold in the UK by Hot Wheels, if I remember rightly. Although somebody said that China had them maybe too. And I remember them having these left in like the mid-80s. You know, nobody wanted them. And the idea was at the gate, right?
Yeah.
The start. So could you adjust this system? Was there adjustability in it?
Yeah, I think you have two screws behind the bottom bracket.
Oh, down here, right?
Yeah, you make. I can show you.
Oh, wow. So you could adjust the tension.
Yeah, the tighten.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you say it was a special frame that was in between?
Yeah, I think it's a prototype because it's an expert size, and all the slingshot we know in BMX museum and so on the net are pro size or mini size.
Right. Okay.
And here it's expert size, and the big difference is only down tube there.
All right.
But with two cables.
Oh, so the Pro one had two tubes here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the Mini is only one tube, but only one cable.
Ah, I see. Yeah. And so this is unique.
Yeah.
So did it flex here?
Yeah, it's a flex.
Yeah.
It's a carbon Kevlar plate block here.
Wow.
And, it's flexion.
Yeah. So what year do you think?
85.
85. Okay.
Yeah, 85.
Well, carbon fiber in 1985.
It was Kevlar.
All right.
I replaced them with carbon.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say we didn't see much carbon fiber in 85, right? Okay. Amazing. Thank you very much for bringing them. Thank you. Right, okay, let's go. This is Grant and these guys that do the Skyway appreciation. And yeah, look at this. It's like, you know, Skyway, I've got a thing here and Skyway over here. So this is just amazing that someone loves the brand so much that they're gonna go to all this trouble of creating almost like a trade stall. So yeah, we'll have a quick look round. So new school TAs. More TAs. Street beats, like 85, 86, so what have you. Original TA. And these are two new school TAs, obviously.
50th anniversary.
Yeah, it is, yeah, 50th anniversary. Yeah, for those that, you know, aren't familiar with them, the thing about them was the tubing. So TA stands for totally aerodynamic. So teardrop tubing here, and on the seat tube, and on the seat stays and the chain stays, and the down tube, and the top tube. And wait, the forks. And they had a quite a unique handlebars. Anybody got Skyway bars on? Yeah, they're easy bars. So they do all the Skyway appreciation merchandise as well, which is really cool. And you can find these guys on Instagram, I think. They do bags and everything. And they've, you know, history of Skyway here. Some all original stuff. He's just talking to somebody, so we'll maybe blend this in a sec. We'll come back to it. More bikes, right? A Hutch Hollywood. So we had these brand new in the boxes, like pink and lavender, in about when we did the first old school race in Warrington, 2000. We just built these out of parts, just brand new out of the box. You know, and they had the warranty card attached here. And I can't remember what we sold them for, but they're a lot more valuable now. Is this Carl's? Barnett's? Is that Carl's? I think this is Carl Barnett's, but so what is this area? All right. Welcome to the Farmer's Arms. So yeah, just all kinds of stuff. Some British stuff. These were made by Rickman. The Rickman brothers made motorcycle frames, and these are made from Reynolds 531 tubing. And if you look at, you know, they're brazed rather than TIG welded. So they're these smooth welds, which are ahead of its time. You know, now people are wanting to do invest cast and have the whole thing looking smooth. These guys already had it down like back in the 1980s. The colour on this is amazing. So they did a freestyler and a race bike as well. And again, these freestyle frames we had in the early 2000s, nobody wanted them because it wasn't a Haro freestyler, people weren't interested, and now they're mega collectible. In fact, we had white ones and chrome ones of these. It's Kuwahara freestyler. I think these are about 86, 87. I remember in 86 we had one of these in pink on the wall at our old shop in Hindley, and it had a chip on the forks. We must have had it for 4 years, I'm not joking. But really cool, twin top tube, standers on the forks. They're a pretty rare bike. This is really nice. Another Kuwahara, some March racing frames here. It's a long top tube that for the day. That's nice. There's a few more Marches around here. Again, all UK made. And for those that follow in on Instagram or on Facebook, Tim's actually bringing the MRD brand back. So I wouldn't hold your breath to see him here next year, but hopefully this time next year Tim will have new versions of these frames available to sell. But yeah, underappreciated in the early years of old school UK BMX, but definitely now lower production, higher quality production values, and more desirable than a lot of the American mass-produced product. This is Ace TM Freestyler, again UK made from Reynolds 531 tubing. It's a bit quad angle-esque as you can see, but a total work of art. Kuwahara's. I don't know, there's just something so cool about Kuwahara as a brand, isn't there, right? I don't know, when we were first racing in 1980, you know, the whole thing with the brand, you know, being Japanese and the uniforms and just the whole thing and the team and the Bill Walters pants, they were just super, super cool. This is a Nova, which was a lower end model that they did below the laser light. But it looks really original, looking at the stem and the Tangi headlock, the UK Speedline rims, Elena Lightning Bolt seat. Yeah, but again, a really nice display here that these guys have put on. Really appreciated.
I'm pretty sure when he's done. So he was down here.
And we've covered this, right? It's the original Bhaskar Master. How you doing?
All right, you did?
Yeah, good, good.
You did that for us.
Yes, Tom reminded me. Yeah, excellent. Good to see you. Having a good time?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Now the sun's out, it's all right, isn't it?
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
So how many bikes did you bring? Just the two?
I've got those two Evil Knievel's over there as well.
Oh, really? Right, okay.
And I've got a pink GT Performer and these two.
So what years are the Hoffmans?
96, I think.
All right, yeah. Did they do about three in it?
I think it was just. Well, I think it was just them two, wasn't it? It was a Wembley.
And
the
then
blue one's a Wembley, and then just the white one. So.
Yeah, because I think the idea was to do like different jump tributes, wasn't there? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. No.
Nice fairy, that, isn't it?
How do you go on with the? Did you not enter them in the weigh off?
Just no. Well, they weigh a ton. Like.
That's what I mean. You'd have had a good chance there, right?
Yeah. They do weigh a ton. That's my favourite at the minute.
Yeah. Well, it's so good keeping them in this survivor condition.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the way people are going with things,
definitely,
right?
Yeah.
And because then you can also use them, and if they get a mark on them, you're not gutted, right?
No,
No, that's really good.
So, but my son likes riding this. 82 Mongoose.
Mongoose, yeah. And are these were these nickel plated?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it is nickel.
Yeah.
You're supposed to keep polishing them up, but you'll be doing it every half an hour, you know? Oh, wow, that's ace.
Is she having a good show?
Yeah. No, it's always good, and
the
weather helps, doesn't it?
Of course it does, yeah.
Brilliant.
Right,
okay, catch you in a bit. Cheers. Oh, we've got some Diamondbacks here, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Diamondback was once a fantastic brand. Is this from the? Is this like from the Survivor?
This is a Survivor.
Is
yeah.
it yours?
No, it's
Oh.
Harvey's. He's just literally walked off. Harvey Moon.
Oh, I know the name.
Just disappeared. There he is. He said the I love crap. Sure. Am I allowed to see?
Harvey.
Is this for the podcast?
Podcast. This is for the YouTube, my highly subscribed YouTube channel. Hey Harvey, we're just talking about the bikes here, and this one stood out. So what's the story behind it?
It came off eBay, and the guy was doing a garden clearance, and he cleared the garden and asked the woman what she wanted to do with the bike that was in the hedge, and she didn't know it was there. So it's been in a hedge in Bolton for 20 odd years.
In Bolton, 5 miles away from us, right?
Yeah, literally just down the road. So yeah, got it back, threw it in the acid, and literally it's everything as it was. The only thing I've changed is the hubs.
So at some point were you considering trying to replicate the smoke chrome finish, or
No.
you were going to keep it a
Never.
Survivor the whole
Yeah,
time?
but no, I wouldn't get rid of that.
Wow.
It tells a story. It's not. It's what it is, isn't it? It's got
Yeah,
a nice
well,
history with it, so
that's what it appears to be the way things are going, right?
that's it. Yeah.
And even talk of people decommissioning bikes that have been restored and converting them back
Really?
to a Survivor. Yeah. So no, it's really good to see. And these were really expensive. You obviously know about it. So do you want to tell
Yeah.
our viewers the story about the Harry Leary Turbo? And
Well, I mean, I loved them because I raced one when I was younger, so it's right. And I had a big collection. I had 5 at one point, and a NOS frame set and whatever else, and just sold them. And then this one came along, and so just
But-
always liked them. So
it was a really expensive.
it was top of the game. Yeah, it was a grail bike to have when you was a nipper. If you could get one of these, you were a lucky boy.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Harvey. Cheers, mate. And I'd like to say they're so rare that you never see them, and right next to it is another one. But the funny thing is, with regards to people's appreciation of these bikes now, something like this gets a lot more attention than a restored or a bike that's been replaced with original parts. But a lot of things are hard to get because they had these suede Cashimax saddles on them, so that's always a difficult thing to be able to replace. And they very easily, the suede ended up getting smooth on them, so it makes them a hard bike to do. And obviously trying to get this finish, which is a smoke chrome, I don't know if anybody's doing it, but it wouldn't be that easy to do. Cranks are amazing. The cranks are made by Sagino, and the chromoly arm on a chromoly square taper spindle. The spindle isn't the same size as you'd use for a standard European bottom bracket or anything. It's a larger diameter, so sometimes you find the arms come up, but you're never going to find the bottom bracket. But how cool are they, with these welded with the Harry Leary plate on the, and they were heavy, and they used to come loose because the square taper system only really works with an aluminium arm when it pulls onto the chrome moly spindle. But because it was chrome moly on chrome moly, you could never really keep them tight. But that's irrelevant now because they're just such a cool item. And these are earlier ones before the bikes all turned to black and silver. It's hard now really to be able to express how important Diamondback was a brand in the 80s, because it wasn't a high-end brand, but it wasn't like a supermarket brand either. It was, we don't really have the equivalent of this anymore in BMX. It's a quality brand, but that was affordable. Now a brand pitches itself that it's higher end, or it's just like mass market. But Diamondback managed to be able to be something that you wanted to aspire to, but yet it was affordable. I mean, the Silver Streak was £199.99, £200 then, which is actually the price of an entry-level BMX bike now. But at the time, it seemed to be really cheap. And then again, like we were talking about Kuwahara, when you know, the whole thing came out, and you had things like, you know, how the uniforms look, and the Bill Walters pants, and Harry Leary, and the whole, you know, Eddie King, and all the team. It was just amazing. It was so. It's hard to describe, you know. And we were the importer for Robinson and Talker, but we still had a lot of respect how these guys looked, the way all the sponsors were on the jersey with the patches, the whole thing, in terms of the aesthetic, and obviously what they managed to do then. It still resonates so much longer on. 40 years later, we're still looking at how goddamn good these bikes look. But yeah, it's a shame that the brand isn't what it was. But yeah, a really important part of BMX in the 80s, and you can see some examples of the uniform here. Wow. Yeah.
There you go.
This is Harry Leary doing the Leary.
So they're sponsored by Pro Kids at the time.
Yeah.
They got combats. Yeah, I've just tried to really make a tribute to this, so I've used used the colours on the helmet there with the Premier sticker. Pretty much, back in the day, I was riding a Formula 1. That's what my parents could afford. 1984. Yeah, absolutely. But it was such a lightweight at the time race bike. I'd gone from like a Falcon Pro Zeta, something like that, which weighed a ton. This arrived 1984 Christmas, and that's what I raced on for a few years. Getting back into it about 8 years ago, it's become slightly obsessive, as you can see. And
it's a slippery slope.
Absolutely, and to manage to get a turbo in a 1983, which I've got there, which was lying in a barn for 30 years after 6 months of use. To get it in survivor mode, you've already looked at it there, but it's got a redone finish by Mark Ralph. It's actually an airbrush finish, which brings out the look and kind of colour scheme of the original Smoke. But it had to be done because that bike was actually stolen from the store in Liverpool prior to Christmas 1983 with a down payment already paid on it.
Right.
So when I picked it up from the guy in Liverpool, got it home, cleaned it up, it was actually a chrome bike. But when I took the grips off and all the other bits and pieces, all the original Turbo Smoke was in all the welds, was underneath the grips. So Mark's kindly left the perfect Turbo Smoke underneath the grips and kind of colour matched it. But I couldn't leave it as a chrome bike. I had to get the Turbo Smoke. So it's a little bit of a fake, but it kind of looks as it should.
No, I wouldn't know. So have people tried to replicate that smoke finish in different ways?
Yeah, there's been a couple of guys that I knew about. I think 3 in total that I was kind of pushed towards. Mark Ralph, for me, was the one that got it because there was a lacquer version, there was a paint version. This is purely airbrushed. Wow. He does, artistic design for tanks, like fuel tanks and all that kind of stuff. He'll do helmets. He'll even do bikes with full decals, but purely airbrushed on.
Wow.
No decals at all on it, just all airbrushed.
It sounds expensive.
It's reasonably expensive, but for what I paid for the bike, it was all relative.
Yeah.
And although it looks a little bit odd, a bright, brand new finish on it with new decals, I think it just finishes it off in the right colour. Yes. It just has to look that turbo.
No, you couldn't have something in between. If it scratches so easily, doesn't it? Yeah. That you either have to go full survivor or make it really, really nice, which you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I mean that was mid to low end, but it had really decent parts on it, Formula 1. And that's kind of where I started my Diamondback life, like I said. So this is fully factory spec, as it was when I got it. So
are these Sagino chrome molly cranks?
Yeah, CT175s. Yeah. Super lightweight. Well, no, in fact, they're not super lightweight. That's probably about the heaviest thing.
Yeah, they're solid, yeah.
But it's a decent design, and they were slimmer, looked sleeker, brought that kind of more expensive market to it. I think moving on from the Vipers and, like you said, about the Pacer 500s and the Silver Streak, so we're trying to be more marketable, more kind of rally burner, if that makes sense. Just more achievable.
Affordable. I mean, what was happening by the time we got to 83 and definitely into 84? All the factories were moving away from America and Japan and moving to Taiwan. So, you know, when Torque had the 280, for example, we had a Torque Magnum, which was basically the same bike but made in Taiwan, but made it more affordable. So instead of being 225, the bike was, you know, under 200 pounds, and that's basically, you know, what the Viper and the Pacers were. And it was Diamondback trying to make the bikes more affordable. And I think BMX was at the point where it was getting a little bit less popular, so the manufacturers were thinking why, and they were thinking the bikes were too expensive. They were trying to find a lower price point in the marketplace. So what year is this catalogue?
So this is 84 catalogue, and you know, turbo's up the top there, and then it's actually not far off it. You got the Formula One, and I think this is what they're looking at in terms of, you know, expensive parts and all the rest of it, down to a lower end market, Pacer 500, Viper, and into some sort of hybrid kind of mountain bike type era. But yeah, so I think that kind of shows the move around.
But the frame designs hadn't effectively changed since like the late 70s, right?
No, not really at all. And that loop tail just kind of went into different forms, either the straight connection or the box section type connection. That all kind of developed, and then different geometry. So if you look at from this kind of side view angle of the Silver Streak against the Harry Leary Turbo, you can see the angle of that rake, or the seat there is far much longer than the top tube, which gives a much steeper angle on the seat. And that's something that Harry came up with and designed.
Yeah, he wanted
a higher seat, rode it with a seat fairly low, preferred to run comp 3s, preferred to run bear traps.
I mean, looking at the turbo here, it's much more like a Robinson or something, isn't it, in terms of the geometry, do you know? Fantastic. Awesome. What was your name again, sorry?
Livy.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
Okay, catch you later. Quite a few in there. Wow. Here's a few bikes from the show and shine. We're a little bit later on now, so some of the bikes have been removed. But just take a look. Real mix of new and old fuel stuff. Another cool Harry Freestyler. These colours are amazing. Mike Buff, California Freestyle. Spend a lot of time getting all the parts right on that. Talking to ATX, we used to import these. We were the importer for Torque in the UK for the whole time they existed. Pretty nice. Torque type full stem. MRD Badlander type thing, Freestyler or whatever. Reynolds tubing again with the braid. This is like that lineage one that we did, right? With the pink pouch. I wonder who did it first. Looks like a kind of 70s area, so 1974, wow. That's cool. racing. These made the Pica Ripper frames back in the day, and you can see the similarities. Of course, a lot of these bikes were relatively common in America, but they were rare over here because we didn't really get BMX in the UK until late 1980, probably. We didn't have a race series until 1981. There's like a GPV build. BMX Action had a magazine article on these gravity-powered races back in the day, and this is a replica of that, quad angle, based on a quad angle. And the Shiki, Japanese brand, similar to Redline. You can see all the similarities to Redline as well. I'm not sure exactly what the connection was, whether this was the factory that were building the Redline bikes and they decided to sell them themselves. I think that might be the story, but if you look at the pad sets and how similar that is. Well, in fact, it says here 1981 Nishiki, made by Norco in the US. Exact copy of the MX2. So yeah, not made in Japan then. Kuhara ET, you see quite a few of these. They came in 3 different variants. There was a lower end one, a middle one, and then a higher end one. Classic Cruiser signed by Charlie Reynolds. Bullseye cranks. Chrome 7S rims, lovely. The Mongoose Pro Class Cruiser that we saw last year. Smoke chrome. Jag. It just goes on and on and on, literally everything that you can think of. Is here. So yeah, there we go. MK 2019. Thanks everybody for having us here. Thanks to all the organisers, and we'll see you next year at MK 2020. We on? I need a hat. I need a hat. Can I borrow a hat? A hat? Yeah.